So Erica Emery is a senior research engineer in the process development group at Saskatchewan Research Council. She has 12 years of experience in the energy sector with projects spanning the range of partial upgrading to alternative fuels. Methane emissions reduction has been a focus area since the launch of CEDAR, and she'll be talking about that as well. So Erica, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. So yeah, I'm Erica. I'm with the Saskatchewan Research Council, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Centre for the Demonstration of Emissions Reductions, or CEDAR. And that did not work. There we go. First, a little bit about SRC. So SRC is Canada's second largest research and technology organization. We are a Treasury Board Crown Corporation, which means our board of directors is overseen by a minister from the Saskatchewan government. We are a fee-for-service basis, so we provide smart science solutions to our clients. And because of that, we're focused on real-world industry needs. We have world-class laboratories and facilities in Saskatoon and Regina, as well as our mobile facilities like the Centre for Demonstration of Emissions Reductions, which I'm going to call CEDAR from now on for simplicity's sake. So on this slide, you can see a little bit of our economic impacts on the province in the past year, as well as SRC's core values of integrity, respect, quality, and one team or teamwork. And I felt I should mention as well, SRC as well as CEDAR has capacity in a range of sectors. So in environment, we provide air and climate monitoring, air quality monitoring, stack testing, environmental remediation, management and oversight. You may have heard of the CLEANS program. We also provide consulting and environmental services. In the energy sector, we have worked in enhanced oil recovery technologies, partial upgrading, greenhouse gas reduction. We're also involved in we have the Pipe Flow Technology Center in Saskatoon and are administering the advanced site closure acceleration program for the province. We're also active in mining and minerals with exploration support, process development, tailings management. We work on multi-phase flow, demonstrations, pipeline design, and a range of services for mining and minerals, as well as agriculture and biotechnology. So on to CEDAR. CEDAR is a platform that consists of a range of services and capabilities for industry. We provide technology assessment, we provide validation, technology selection, techno-economic assessments, environmental assessments, and we also provide real-world technology performance and emissions testing. Following our validation protocol, we can work in the lab at the pilot scale or in the field at commercial scale. The goal of CEDAR is to accelerate technology adoption. So we want to take a technology and either perform maybe a paper evaluation of it. We can perform testing either in the lab or the field, depending on what stage that technology is at, and then finish with that third-party independent validation of that technology that gives operators confidence to apply it in the field on their sites. As I mentioned, technology assessment can be economic in terms of cash flow analysis. It can be an implementation assessment. We can assess the technology for its practical field implementation. We can do an environmental assessment for a GHG verification or a life cycle assessment, life cycle analysis. We have a database with around 400 technologies listed. I should mention that these technologies are not solely specific to oil and gas. It's a range of industries: mining, agriculture, power generation, hydrogen, and it's not specific only to methane either. There are a range of greenhouse gases, CO2, methane, nitrogen oxides, that kind of thing. So we also have the capability to provide a screened list from this database based on the client's requirements, and then perform the assessments that I mentioned. On top of assessment, CEDAR also offers mobile facilities, which provide credible fee-for-service, low-cost platform for field-scale testing of emissions reduction and capture technologies. By doing this real-world testing and demonstration in the field, we can provide independent third-party validation. And we use our standardized validation protocol to ensure that the process is the same and it's transparent and consistent across projects. The goal of this would be to accelerate industry adoption of practical emissions reductions technologies so as to reduce emissions throughout the sector. And as I've mentioned several times, Cedars trailers are mobile, so although we're based in Saskatchewan, we can operate in field locations across Canada. So in this slide, just down at the bottom here, you can see a picture of a couple of our Cedar trailers. Our trailers are modular, meaning there's very little in terms of fixed equipment in the trailers. We can put the equipment in that we're going to need on the site. That provides for a wide range of testing technology scenarios. All our trailers are operated by experienced field and technical personnel. As part of the CanERIC program, we're also hiring another highly qualified personnel to operate the trailers. And our facilities are designed to monitor, measure, and validate mass and energy inputs and outputs so that we can form mass and energy balance, internal or nearby gas emissions, that's the air quality monitoring that I mentioned, and as well as process variables. So we have a variety of wireless sensors and sort of industry standard instrumentation. We also have the ability to gather data from the site if it's already instrumented. So Cedar can assess and validate technologies geared to measurement, prevention, capture, conversion, and low and high volume sources. We can work with all greenhouse gases, methane, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxides, as well as hydrogen sulfide, although there are specific safety requirements for that, of course. And I've mentioned several times that Cedar is equipped to validate emissions measurements and reduction technologies. So this slide just provides a sort of brief idea of what those technologies might be. A range of technologies are possible. These are just some ideas. We've done incinerators and combustors. We have an upcoming catalytic oxidizer test. We can work with gas to liquids, vapor recovery units, compressed natural gas, liquefied natural gas, gas to power, like a microturbine. There's also specialty technologies that are being developed, methane to CO2 bioconversion unit. We are also active in static and mobile monitoring systems, so UAV, QOGI, LDAR. I know many other members of CanERIC are also active in this area, so our main offerings are in the first two columns of this table, but we do have capabilities across the board. SRC has a number of well-equipped facilities that complement Cedar's mobile field testing. So we also have bench scale laboratory equipment. We have pilot plant areas, and it bears mentioning we also have the Shook Gillies high pressure, high temperature test facility. And that's a picture of it down at the bottom there. So it's an explosion-proof building, class 1, div 1, I believe. We are able to handle volatile fluids and high pressure, high temperature volatile fluids in a 4-inch diameter pipe loop. As part of the CanERIC program, we have received funding for some additional equipment. This doesn't include the Cedar trailers, which were already operating at the time we joined CanERIC. So the trailers are already in existence. They're operating in the field right now. But NRCan has provided additional funding for some equipment to go into the modular trailers. One of the things that we're looking into is the Fourier transform infrared spectroscope. SRC already has one, but this would be a backup. Spectroscope can be, FTIR can be used to measure gas composition. We're also looking into some silico canisters to take reactive gas samples, particularly sulfur analysis. And then we have additional funding waiting in the wings for other equipment as needed. So because the Cedar trailers are modular, if we are testing a type of equipment that hasn't been tested before and requires a non-standard instrument of some kind, we can purchase that to meet the needs as they arise. I'd like to take a moment here to thank the Saskatchewan government for their support. The government of Saskatchewan is investing up to $400,000 towards SRC's activities under CanERIC as part of its methane action plan. This funding is provided 50% by Innovation Saskatchewan and 50% by the Saskatchewan Ministry of Energy and Resources. The contributions are for SRC testing, validation, and accelerating adoption rates for a range of methane emission reduction technologies under CanERIC. And it can cover up to 20% of activities, with the remaining 80% of the funds leveraged by other CanERIC sources. So let's collaborate. SRC has laboratory and mobile field facilities. We have experienced engineers, scientists, and technologists. We can draw on expertise throughout SRC. Like I mentioned earlier, we have energy, mining, we have environment, advanced manufacturing division. So if you're not sure if SRC can meet your needs, please talk to us. We do have a range of people that I haven't mentioned. And we've worked with industrial clients, academic institutions, regulators, government, inventors, investors. Please get in touch. Here's my contact information, as well as Dr. Erin Powell and Leslie McGill. Dr. Powell is currently on leave, but should be returning in the new year. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll open up the floor now to questions for Erica. Thank you very much, Erica. So please just unmute yourselves and ask away.
Hey, Erica, this is Brian. Thanks very much. That was an excellent presentation. Does the trailer, by the very nature of it being sort of on a trailer, does it limit you on site to be proximal to whatever you need to do on that site?
So the trailer can be used to bring equipment to site. Ideally, it would be near the equipment that we're testing. It's also equipped with a generator, so if there's no on-site power and our test equipment requires power, we provide that in the trailer. There have been, I mean, depending on your regulatory requirements for setback, there might be specific areas that it can't go. But hasn't been an issue yet. I don't know if that answered your question, Brian.
I think so. I know you said that there's a lot of things in there that are kind of plug and play, and that you can mix and match as you need to, depending on what the site requirements are. I was just wondering if for some of the things that you've done in the past, if you had identified any limitations with the trailer, but maybe that's more to come in the future. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you, Erica. I'll just ask you a quick one on your hydrogen stuff. One of the technology vendors that we're looking at for the electrical showdown, Capstone, is creating the ability to burn hydrogen in their electrical generator. And they've tested it up to 70% hydrogen, and they're working on the next test, which would be 100% hydrogen. What are you guys working on the hydrogen front?
We're not actually working on anything specifically right now. We have the technology database, which includes information on different hydrogen economy, you could say. We have talked to some different, I don't want to mention their names specifically, but to a provider who is working in Saskatchewan to produce hydrogen. We also have our own, we have done some hydro treating tests in the past, so we have our own hydrogen, small scale hydrogen compressor in the lab and the ability to work with hydrogen.
Excellent. Any other questions for Erica? Okay, well, thank you very much, Erica. I really appreciate that.